Hello. Thanks for joining us again on the channel. I've always been curious about this one, and now that a friend picked one up, we can finally talk about it. His experience, start to finish. Quick note before we begin. There's a discount link in the description and the top comment if you want to check it out. Now let's not waste any more time and jump right into the details.
Let's start with our first reviewer's experience.
This reviewer purchased this MeshPoint to tackle a family member's challenging home network situation. The house itself was a real headache for Wi-Fi, with a strange layout, plaster and brick walls, and even a large chimney in the middle, creating numerous dead zones. To make matters worse, a wireless camera system was constantly flooding the 4 GHz bandwidth interference, crippling the performance of the existing low-end router. Having experience with higher-end professional gear from the same company, our reviewer decided to give this more consumer-focused device a try. The initial setup was a breeze and felt very intuitive, much like other home networking products. A key first step was to immediately update the device's firmware through the simple mobile app, a good practice for any new hardware. Finding the optimal location for the MeshPoint required some patience. Our reviewer experimented with 4 or 5 different outlets before settling on the one that provided the best signal. Once in place, fine-tuning the physical antenna offered little additional benefit. At first, the results were good but not perfect. The MeshPoint successfully extended the network into a previously unreachable part of the house, delivering the full speed of the internet service. However, it didn't magically solve the interference issue from the cameras. Later on, the real game changer came from a small adjustment to the old router's settings. By lowering the power on its crowded 4 GHz band, our reviewer allowed the new MeshPoint to create a stable, high-speed connection back to the router using the cleaner 5 GHz band. From there, it rebroadcast a strong and stable signal on both bands. This simple tweak completely resolved the interference problems, creating a robust network that performed significantly better than the old router ever could on its own.
Let's start with our first reviewer's experience.
This reviewer came to this mesh system with a fair amount of home networking experience, having set up numerous smart devices and other network hardware before. Attracted by the promise of long range and a simple installation, our reviewer purchased the main unit and several additional mesh points. However, the initial experience was anything but easy. The setup process was found to be completely unintuitive, with unhelpful directions and inconsistent audio and light cues from the hardware itself. A major source of frustration was the accompanying app. Unlike other systems this client had used, there was no simple way to add a new MeshPoint. The process was needlessly complicated, and even when the extenders were in the same small room for testing, they would constantly drop their connection. The app lacked basic monitoring features, such as notifications for when a point went offline, making it difficult to even tell if the system was working correctly. This led to the initial decision to return the significant investment in equipment. Persistence, however, revealed the root of the problem. After several days of troubleshooting, which included about 10 hard resets, the devices finally triggered a necessary firmware update. Once this was installed, the system began to function as expected. The experience was further improved when the company later released another update that streamlined the process, making it much more user-friendly. Now, the system runs without any issues. In a complete turnaround, our reviewer now loves the ability to remotely monitor and manage the network in a vacation home from thousands of miles away, a feature that has made the initial struggle worthwhile.
Great! Now let's see what our next reviewer has to say about their experience.
This reviewer was initially skeptical, having struggled with dead zones and poor Wi-Fi throughout their older apartment. The building's construction, with its thick walls and wire mesh, was a notorious signal killer, making reliable internet access a constant challenge. This client first bought a single MeshPoint to try and combat a particularly troublesome area. Impressed with the performance of that single unit, our reviewer decided to invest in the full system, complete with the base station and additional mesh points. Now this Wi-Fi setup completely blankets the entire space in a strong, fast signal. The difference has been remarkable. Where previously speeds struggled to reach even modest levels in many areas, the reviewer now enjoys consistently high download speeds in almost every corner of the home. Setting up this system was incredibly straightforward, too. Using the companion app was a breeze, guiding the user through the process with ease. The physical setup is just as simple, with only a couple of cables to worry about for the base unit and the mesh points plugging directly into the wall sockets. This reviewer found the single mesh point incredibly convenient, as it doesn't require a separate network name like traditional extenders, allowing for a seamless transition as you move around the house. Overall, this client is thrilled with the improved Wi-Fi coverage and speed.
And that's it. If this video helped, hit like and subscribe for more. Let me know what you think down below. Thanks for watching.